And we're ready to wrap up the day with the best session of all, which is a panel. And it's getting us on the mood of Unconference because we're now open for you to post questions to our leadership. So that's all about community and collaboration, this talk, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is. They'll talk about how we can work together to make Liferay and the community work better together. Let's ask them questions over the microphone on how we can assist each other. Would you like to do the introductions?
Yeah, sure. Welcome to the stage, Brian Chen, Liferay CEO. Marco Leo, Liferay's Chief Product Officer. And Igor Arouca, Liferay's Chief Technology Officer. Welcome to the stage. So there are two ways to make questions, as Wes mentioned. First of all, we have a microphone that is, where is it? With Maria, right in the middle. Oh, there she is. So you have a microphone, just raise your hand and we can have questions coming from there. Or you can use the app, the events app, where you can post the questions. Just go into the agenda, checking in on this talk and posting your questions. Anyone up for the first question? There's someone way back there. Yeah.
Good eyes.
Once you've been here 2 days, you get used to it.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Hi, my name is Benjamin. So sorry, I will start to ask not really easy questions, but I'm used to it. So we've seen a lot of great stuff during this last 2 days, but I like the last releases since the new system is quite questioning about the quality of Liferay, and we have seen a lot of issues about really basic features, like in what of the last quarterly release, it was literally impossible to upload a document in the library in French, and it took some time to fix. And we see a lot of those issues quite often. So can you tell us, are you aware, I know you are, but are you aware of those issues, and what is the plan to improve the quality, which has been a continuous issues in the previous years?
Yeah. Let's start with an easy question. I was betting for staging, by the way, but this is good enough. So, yes, I mean, we never hide it that. Oh, hello. Quality issues, they are everywhere. Yeah, we have quality issues. There's nothing to hide. It's a very complex project. There are so many features. Historically, we have just improving iteration over iterations. We are very confident that our latest quarter releases are better than the previous versions. It's not as a perception. It's just like data and reported issues by customers. There are their bugs, of course. We invested a lot as well in the resolution time of bugs. So if you guys are a paid subscriber, you will get a fix in average less than 10 days. So that's we are aware that there are issues, but as well we invested in being really reactive on those issues. Okay. And we evolved a lot the way we are building things internally, the flows, QA's process. There is a lot of investment that we did over the last year that will be reflected, of course, over the time. So there are no shortcuts for quality. It's just like it's just a process, and we are seeing results quarterly over quarterly. So I know that I don't have a better question. Is about be patient. Is coming that are showing progress, and yeah, we are really confident just because we are seeing like a good trend on it. So yeah.
Yeah, one thing I want to add here is that we invested significantly on data operations. So it's not just feeling anymore or like waiting for tickets from customers for us to do this. So we have a ton of data right now that we're tracking internally. It's very visible. We can tell the areas we need to invest more, have plenty dashboards. There's a lot of things that our data operations team and PMO, they've been tracking very closely right now. So we continue to invest there.
It's a good question. So the one that has the most votes, it looks like we can vote to prioritize these as they come in, is there a performance benchmark comparing objects-based application performance with service builder-based versions?
Sure. So there are performance benchmark, yes. We are working on more, let's say, more sophisticated performance benchmark, because the one that we used to have for example, in our public white paper, were actually really basic use cases. It's about you have a web content, you put in a page, you have like concurrent user accessing. The way we are doing it is having more complex use cases, but already from the first interaction that we are having with customers, we are able to load much more data actually with objects, because it's just a framework. So when we fix the performance in the frameworks, it's fixed for everybody, rather than like doing with web content document that we are, is developed oriented. So everybody has to do this iteration. So again, object is not magic. Object is based on Liferay architecture. It's like a dynamic service builder. There is no complexity. It sounds like something very complex, but is the same service builder technology. So the performance are quite correlated.
Yeah. So it's built on top of Service Builder, and then we have this internal app called TestRay, where we load insane amounts of unit test data in there, and we were able to, by eating our own dog food, find the bottlenecks, and we've been slowly fixing them.
Yeah. And soon we will have some partners from Spain that will help up with. They are somewhere, but in a couple of weeks they are seeing the improvements of objects and in importing a lot of data. In our internal benchmark, we are importing over 55,000 object entries in less than 2 minutes. So those are the current benchmark that we are improving. So yeah, we are very confident on the performance. Actually, already better than the service builder based one.
Thank you. I want to just add to the first easy question we had. I think the switch back to quarterly releases instead of the weekly releases you had last year helped a lot. Of course, like you said, you can't prevent bugs 100%, but yeah, I think at least last year with the weekly releases, we noticed a lot more problems than we did this year with all the quarterly updates.
You just won a gift.
Nice. Free beer after? No, my question is easier, I hope. The problem we have with editors that add new pages with the nice master pages we have now, with all the restrictions of fragments people you can use and the style books and everything you can set up. The problem we have now is there's no way to restrict the usage of the default blank master page, which pretty much allows anyone to use anything they want. So I've asked this on Slack, and I think I raised a support ticket a while ago, but I'm not sure anymore. The question is there a plan to restrict or even maybe disable the blank master page to get rid of that problem?
I'm not sure I understood 100% the question. Is it there are plans to restrict functionalities?
No. When you add a master page and you can set it as default, there's still always going to be a way for editors or people that add new pages to select the blank master page as the page type they want to use. And the problem we have there is they can then use any fragment and like circumvent the style books and everything we've set up there. So
okay, it's very specific. I don't have the answer, but we can ask Julia.
No, I was saying that if you want to talk afterwards, we can talk. I think, did you submit a feature request for this? Yeah, we're looking into that. I don't remember exactly what the team said because I need to go back to the team. But yeah, we should be fixing that. Like at some point, yes, it's very specific, but it's not super difficult to do either. Thank you.
So the answer is we will fix it. That's why we have Julia and Bernard.
We'll take one from the app if that's okay. Next one with the highest number of votes is, what are the timelines for the API builder and proxy objects to be production ready? Because it must be still in beta. We have a lot of use cases that we want to use these features.
Okay. This is a nice question. It's actually, I will try to decouple two topics. Mm-hmm. And it is a topic that I listen a lot, like in those 2 days, like, hey, you have a lot of features in beta, okay? So this concept of the beta feature was something that we added recently over the last years to give preview of features. And this is a way for us to receive feedbacks. Why? Why this is important? Because then you after complaints about quality. So it's a way for getting early feedbacks about use cases, about completeness of the features. So we are learning a lot out of this. So please provide feedbacks whenever they are in beta. And if you're a customer, we did multiple times, like we have like clear commitment with some customers that want to be early adopter in supporting them even in the beta status. So that's fair because it's giving us a lot of value as feedback of the feature itself, and we can provide an early support for those customers. Regarding the API builder, is currently the priorities of the product team is around fixing the staging use cases and the moving between environments of content. So part of it is fixing our headless API layer. So it will be between Q1 and Q2 of next year. It will be under a good status to be released. And I forgot the other components, sorry. Proxy objects. Okay, so for proxy object is a different story. We admit it's a wonderful idea. It's super nice, it's super attractive. And we have some already customer using it in production for very specific use cases. But we are a bit scared in this stage yet because we need more data of production customers, because it may end in performance issues in applications, because there is like a clear correlation between like third-party systems. So we still are trying to find the boundaries of the features in a way that then we don't receive a lot of support tickets complaining about performance. So we are still like in discovering phases to complete. The initial idea was to have like it release status by the end of this year with Q4, but we are missing that deadline because we are still not getting the data that we wanted. So yeah, I think that by still Q2, Q3 next year, we should be ready.
But the main thing that he said that some of you guys might have missed is, if you guys are working on a project where that will save you a ton of time, that's like, oh, if I use proxy objects, it'll be very fast. If I don't, I have to spend another 300 hours. Talk to us right away, and you can be part of that program.
Yes, that's
talk to us, because
that's exactly the purpose of beta.
Yeah, without that, we're never going to get out of beta.
So we are trying to improve the quality, not just in terms of bugs, but as well in completeness of features. I think I was talking, yesterday when I was saying like, hey, we are always 80% there, 90% there, but we actually complete. We need feedback. So the beta program is this stage of, if you have a clear use cases, talk to us. We are very happy to join a call and try in production with you.
Yeah, and the more data you have, the happier we'll be.
Hi. So I think one of the key takeaways we can have from the Devcon is that we saw how powerful client extensions are. We saw the AI assistant, and we learned that it's part of the roadmap. And then we saw also Liferay Universal Connector, and for example, the payment method with Stripe on the marketplace, but not in the roadmap and not supported by Liferay. So my question is to understand, I want to understand what's the decision-making process when it comes to decide that AI assistant goes into the roadmap, but not the connector or the Stripe method or any new extensions built by Liferay teams. Thank you.
I'm going to try to summarize the question here. So, but basically, like the decision process for things to go into the roadmap.
Okay. So, internally we are using like a Rice core methodology. Okay, so our product team is quite connected to the feature requests we are receiving by customers, and market research and analyst. And depending on the weight that we are receiving from those different sources, we are scoring some features. There are some that are more aligned with strategic initiatives that we see in the market, like the promoting content between environment or CMS so that they get either scored. And there are others that are like standalone initiative that may get like less scoring, or because there is less demand, there is less people asking for it. So the easier way for you to influence our roadmap is talk to us about your needs. If you talk to us and we are listening and you are opening feature requests, then those scores will be influenced. So yeah.
One from the app. Keep on voting. You have an option to upvote the question. So one from the app. As more of Liferay core functionality is re-architected to be based on objects, how are you going to avoid regressions and lost functionality?
And we have an option to combine two where there's interest in web content with objects. So that might solve two people's questions.
Okay, so again, nice questions. It means that you are really listening to to the presentations. So like I will start with the second one. Between web content and object, there is a conflict of interest. Okay, in which sense? It's like web content by itself is based on structures web content, that is structured data, where you can add new fields and new metadata. And this is actually the same thing that you do with object. So combining the two things, it ends up in a very complex experience first, and a lot of edge cases that can affect a lot quality and performance. So we are actually preventing, because in our nearly roadmap, we are planning to complete our vision around object to be able to substitute completely the web content. So that's why we are not adding this bridge, because can cause actually more issues than benefit. I know it's a super useful features, but the risk of adding it is too high for the quality in this moment. And the other one...
How can we avoid lost functionality when making the transition from historical functionality to object-based solutions?
Okay. So how we avoid, well, this is a good question. I hope we have a good product team that is doing proper analysis and requirements. That's the hope where we start some new development. And we audited the functionality, and we had the list of requirements to actually fill the gaps between some features that exist, for example, in documents and library and objects, and in document library web content not present in objects. So before doing the switch, we are actually filling the gaps between the frameworks in a way that the migration from one to other is actually we are trying to add more value and more feature on top of it. We don't want to take something out. It's the opposite. Okay.
Hi there. So a question relating client extensions and objects. So currently I've seen that client extensions that allows you to run your custom code in separate process, but you also have these low code features which are able to create applications really fast, and you have these objects which allows to store the data. But as I understand, I might be wrong, but you store the data in a Liferay database still. But as I come from big environment, I see that like a project I wouldn't like to store. I would like to have a separate environment in own database also for client object, but able to use speed of the development what I get for this client object. Is this something like you might be aiming at, or do you have it already?
So you kind of described the concept of proxy objects. That is actually having object functionality, but storing in a different data store. That's exactly what proxy object is. So I think it's in beta. You can try. You actually have already the wizard to connect to different databases, and it should fill your use cases.
Okay.
Thank you. So another question, which is not the most voted. The most voted one, we'll leave that to the end, okay? But what do you still believe is unique from Liferay? Why and how much are you guys in love with Liferay, the technology?
I'm going to talk about Liferay, not just the product, but the company as well. This is one of my favorite events to participate. I've been coming for 10 years now, and I'm always impressed about the conversations that I have with customers, partners, and even with our employees. I've been thinking a lot about innovation and how you create the environment to foment that. And then I come here and I hear so many different things, that our employees are doing. And so this is one of the things that I still appreciate the most about the Liferay as a company, the diversity of thoughts, the environment that we create to foment that, to enable employees to bring their ideas, produce, innovation and excellence. So for me, at least for me, this is what makes me tick. And yeah, I'm always glad to see this is still very, very alive in the community, in the company.
I really do believe with all my heart that we're at the start of a renaissance, and you can feel it from the amount of stuff we're pumping out. And we're trying ideas. Some of them that are my fault that don't work, like weekly updates, right? But we also had another one where it was like 2-3 years before we had a release. So now we're finding the right balance. We're a lot of software companies. It's acquire, and then just bring it into a blob. They just take the customers. Liferay is not like that. We actually do care about the code. It's a really strange mix of a for-profit company while being truly a geeky open source company, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think there's that many out there like that.
Yeah, it's like I can actually rephrase the last one you say. Like it's very hard to find like a product in land space like Liferay that is a unique user experience that is consistent across the different pieces of the functionalities. If you find like our competitors, to your point, they acquire a company and then they have like challenging for years to integrate, and there is a lot of data syncs and things happening between them. Liferay is unique in this sense. We are a single a single product actually that is able to provide so many different experience to our customers. And with the low code approach, we have like actually a unique spot now, not just recognized by us, but actually recognized by Forrester and Gartner. Is like we are able to provide out-of-box functionality and still be a platform with local tools to extend. Is a unique value proposition right now in the market as well.
Yeah, one more thing that I wanted to add as well. We've been discussing a lot about where to invest and innovation. And one area that we've been investing so heavily in the last couple of years is technology partnerships. So you saw many of those, Google was on the stage here today. So we're looking a lot at that and how we can focus. I think that was the theme from Brian and Marco this week. We're trying to focus, but also tap into the potential of technology partnerships and how can we expand our reach through those.
We have time for 3 more questions, so we're going to the audience now, then we come to the app, and then one final. Yeah.
Hello, Sébastien Marchand from Nizis. Could you plan to change the default homepage of Liferay? For example, introducing call to action or step-by-step wizard, because I think it could be strongly improve the discoverability of the product outside the Liferay community, especially coupled to the new SaaS trial. And the SaaS trial is great.
I had an hard time understanding the question. If SaaS trials?
So
can you pass the micro to Rafa, please?
SaaS trial is great, but if you open the SaaS trial, the homepage is basically empty, and in some other products there are call to action, wizard, etc., etc. So I think it could be a good move, and not very costly to improve the default homepage.
Are you asking if our SaaS trial will go on, prolong, so that it doesn't just delete itself after 30 days?
The tree, the hello world. If I'm hearing you right, Sebastian, it's that you open up Liferay, you see the tree, you see hello world, but you could have wizards, training
Okay,
material,
gotcha.
helpful stuff for the user.
Yes.
If that is that
Yes.
good?
And maybe an English lesson for foreign partners. No, it's a joke. Forget.
Okay, so yes, to your point, it's like we call this like onboarding experience. These very complex terms, but is exactly what is it. It's like, I agree, when you install a Liferay, whatever is it, a SaaS or on-premise, you get this nice tree picture that is beautiful, but is giving nothing, right? It just we are working on completely revamp that onboarding experience in a way that is more guided. We did a first prototype actually with our SaaS trial where the experience is completely different. You start discovering the product step by steps. So if you didn't have the chance to try, please try it to provide feedbacks on it.
Yeah, that's a really valid concern. I've complained about it for years.
Oops.
Like years. I'm like, what is
Putting
this,
everybody on
guys?
spot. Okay. Okay, the most voted on the app right now is Liferay still SaaS first?
Yes, I would say what it means by SaaS first is like
Maybe.
is a big concern.
Like a SaaS only? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, maybe that's
Because
it.
more and more features are SaaS only and less features in open source.
No, so like there will be features that because of the technology requirements will be available only on SaaS, and not necessarily only on SaaS. In SaaS, it will be already pre-configured, and you don't have to worry about complexity. For example, we are going to work in improving the CDN within our team, right? And those are basically we can do that just with cloud. We can do just with SaaS, unless you guys, we can then provide steps to replicate the environments and software we are using from premise. But then there is less value, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, we're going to stay open source.
But yeah,
like the
there
cloud
are
stuff, like
features
for
that-
analytics cloud, we leverage heavily Google's BigQuery. There's nothing else like it. So it's impossible for us to make that on-premise. So
Now, I'll add one caveat. Yes, we are thinking constantly about the investments on the platform side because we definitely want to make it easier for you to create your solutions. So yes, we've been putting a lot more thought and investments on creating a platform that has the best practices embedded in that built-in. So that's going to continue very strong, but the other options are still
the other option will still there. Like is a different needs. I would say it's like SaaS customer, whoever has that SaaS need, is even not looking to the other options just because we are talking to different personas. So our portfolio we are not planning to touch. We are going to invest a lot in our SaaS offering and as well as the PaaS offering, and still we are really convinced to keep our on-premise offering until we exist, I think.
Thank you. Last question from the audience, and then the last one from the app.
Hello, Krzysztof Gołębiowski is my name. I have a question. When do you think, it's actually a continuation of a question from the app, when do you think we'll be able to completely replace web content with objects? And by completely, I mean having all the features, friendly URL, scheduling, everything, so we can completely get rid of web content.
Yes, so it will be gradual over the next year. Like our plan is to have like I know the product team here will be very upset with me. So, but by Q3 of the next year, we should have like the first MVP in good shape, and that means that the feature gaps with web content will be fulfilled. Yes.
Okay, we still have the last question is very difficult, so I'll
Be prepared.
Be prepared. So I'll ask another one from the app because we had two of those. What is the future of staging? Should we use publications instead?
Who asked this question?
We had two of those.
Okay. Just kidding. So, okay, this is a complex question. I have to stand up. Actually,
it's getting worse. Prepare.
It's getting worse. No, really. The staging and publication solve different purposes. One is solving a a part of the content authoring experience. So you're actually able to, preview your changes. It's still part of the publication process. While staging, there is a part of it, but as you pointed out multiple times, the beauty aspect of staging was actually the portability of your sites, right? You can export the site, import. You have this concept of remote staging that is super useful in multiple use cases. So regarding publication, we really believe is trying to solve a clear problem that our users have, but as well we believe that we did a bad job in the engineering side. Is engineering, sometimes it goes good, other times it goes wrong, but we are evolving our code base and we are trying to solve the use cases because the problem is complex, is the unique resource, but the problem is there. And we are not going to just abandon the problems. We are actually actively evolving. This is our top priority, both staging and publications. So we are actively working on solve those issues in our product. Regarding staging is under an internal refactory. Yesterday I said we are going to deprecate staging, it was more like I was actually wanted to create this because the problem with staging, you have to understand the problem first, and then it's a line of thinking, right? So staging try to serialize data that you changed within the whole tree of related content that you use. For example, you change a page, and it's trying to serialize a page with a web content, and if the web content there is a category, it's getting the category, and then there is an image, it's trying to get an image. And all of this is, there's not a framework. It really depends on the developer doing a good job. And we are humans. So sometimes we forget some flags, and has a lot of those issues because the complex topic of managing relationship with entities. We are actually working in a simplified framework that is based on top of headless API, the batch engine, and the concept of lazy referencing between entity. So we are actually removing the complexity of relationship, changing actually approach to the problem. And is in active development. You will see progress over the next quarters. It's going to be a progression. It's not going to be an on and off, but it's going to be a continuous progression to the end that we expect during the first part of the next year. So yeah, staging will be there. We are just refactoring the internals of it in a way that is actually robust. We are not going away of the problem. The other part about publication is the use cases is valid, but we are still thinking how to improve the engineering experience.
Okay, so last one to wrap up, the most difficult one. Okay, ready?
More difficult than staging?
Yeah. Yeah.
Be prepared.
Okay.
Everybody knows what I'm asking. Okay. So, Devcon 2025, where?
Ooh.
Really?
That's the question.
I thought marketing decides that, right? And they tell me, right? I have an idea.
So who knows where is? I don't know actually.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's for Mariella. Where is Mariella?
Where's Mariella?
No, she doesn't know yet.
Mariella.
She doesn't know.
Yep.
Do you know the city for next year? The city for Devcon for next year?
Right on the spot. Okay, let's
Guys,
go.
no, there is no way.
Round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much. Marco Leo, Igor, Arouca, Brian Chan.
Very good.